Hi, welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is the second in a series of warm-ups that I'm doing. I'm Nancy Gamso. I'm a professor of music at Ohio Wesleyan University. And some of my alums from OWU, who are now band directors, asked if maybe I could make some instructional videos for you folks who are at home and need some tips about what to practice since you don't have a band rehearsal every day. So I'm starting with a few lessons here on flute and piccolo, and then we'll go to clarinet and saxophone, and we might even throw some bass clarinet in there for you guys that are bass clarinet players. Okay, so this is the second one on flute, and we are working on some warm-ups from a handout that I use with clinics, and I'll have that attached that you can download, or I'll have a link to where you can find that. So we are working our way down. We're down to the third exercise on this handout. Okay, so we have warmed up our face, stretched out our face a little, and our neck. We've worked on some breathing. We've gotten some long tones for homogeneous sound. We worked on some vibrato. And now we're working on a little bit more of lip flexibility. For flute players, lip flexibility is very important. So we're going to do a little bit of this on the flute, and then we're going to try it on the piccolo. I don't do it so much on the piccolo, but we want to include the piccolo a little bit. So this one is based on the fact that the flute can very easily play harmonic tones. So for example, the first one we're starting on is the B natural. So the B natural, you obviously can play B's in both octaves, but then you can also play an F sharp above the octave B, like this. And so this is a great exercise to get your lip flexibility when you're having to go in the high register. So the lips come forward when you go to the third register, second register, and then even more for the third register. So we're going to go down chromatically. Now the second note is a B flat, and I want you to try using the little lever key that you have. I actually have two. You probably just have one. But this is another B flat. Instead of using this finger, if you use this little lever key, it seems to work better with the harmonic. So use that when we get to the second set, the B flat, F. Okay, so let's play it together. Here we go. We'll do it slow. Okay, let me just clarify that we are using just one finger, and everything else has been done with the mouth, just like you're playing a trumpet with one fingering and lots of notes on that one fingering. The other thing to keep in mind is we're really just working on flexibility of the embouchure, of the lips, okay? And we're not just overblowing or getting tight, right? If you start to feel tight, stop and stretch, maybe just go to work on something else, and try this when you're a little more relaxed in your face. We don't want to get any kind of tension built in your face. All right, so we're on the second line. So we have two more notes that I'm suggesting that you just do the octave and then the fifth above. You can always play more notes than that. There are many notes you can play, but just for simplicity's sake. All right, so starting in G flat. Now the next one, and on the back side of the page, or the second page, we're going to add one more. So fingering an E. Now I didn't add one for B natural because most flute players don't have a B foot, have this third little key down here. But if you do, you could certainly apply the same formula for a low B. I know if you have it, you should use it if you have it B natural. All right, well let's see what we can do with piccolo a little bit. All right, so piccolo requires just a little smaller aperture, but we don't want to be tight in our face. So let's just go back and warm up a little bit on that first exercise. So let's stop there for a minute. You might notice that I'm wearing an earplug in my right ear. Piccolo is extremely loud, especially on the right ear if you're practicing alone. It's less bothersome to your hearing when you're in a band setting because there's a lot of other sound waves that are kind of canceling out the what's damaging your ear, or at least the perception there is. You probably should always be wearing at least a right earplug when you're playing piccolo. This is a specially made earplug. Any earplug will do, but try to use a little bit of ear protection in your right ear. All right, especially if you're playing really, really high notes for an extended period of time. All right, well, let's try just some piccolo harmonics. Let's do just a simple one first. Let's go to that F. That worked. How about G flat? G. A flat. All right, so there's a kind of a warm-up that you can do with piccolo as well. All right, so we're going to just finish this video with a little bit of technical work. A lot of flute players need to be able to double tongue. So the last exercise on here is a double tongue exercise. So what I suggest you do is single tongue the first two bars, double tongue the third bar, and then the pattern is suggesting maybe you do a descending pattern in half steps. You can do it any pattern you want, but that's just the one I chose. For the triplet exercise, you're going to do single tongue on the first bar and triple tongue on the second and third bar. Okay, if you want a little challenge, then one way you could do that is to change notes. So this is what it is written right now. Right? If you want a challenge, so you have to know your key signatures. I just did G major and then F sharp major. So there's another way to extend that. The next way that I just improvised a new way to play the triple tongue. Here's the triple tongue exercise. Right? So you could do it that way. That was tukutu tukutu tu. You could do tukutu kutukutu if you want to. Or you could play I like to call this, I just named it, the Hickory Dickory Dock variation. Or, just as it's written, probably use a metronome with this one too. All right, the last thing on the handout are some alternate fingerings for intonation. If you need some explanation about that, feel free to email me. But there is a fingering. If you need the note to be flatter, for example, then that would be a fingering you could use. So taking the E flat off, high F if you need to make it flatter, add the 6, so should be fairly self-explanatory, but let me know if you have any questions on that. Well, thanks so much. If you are a flute or piccolo player, feel free to ask some questions and email me, and we'll see you on the next video for you clarinet and saxophone players. Bye.